A in the bass, A in the up here in your little finger. Everybody's about A, okay? And that C right there. So this is the key of A minor. He does start, as we all know. That's the most famous part of the whole song.
That's every cell phone ring in the world.
Yeah, it goes da, 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 da. Oh, hello. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that what I'm explaining to you very carefully is the fact that your left hand has what we call stretches. This chapter is all about the octave. Right, everybody, the octave? And for a pianist, an octave is always the little finger and the thumb. What Beethoven did, he connects it with the second finger on E. And that's all it is, about as calculated as that is. The next pattern that he uses is the octave E to E, but then he crosses over to G sharp. G sharp. See how he used G sharp in the key of A minor as well? All the numbers that are in the book are there, so please make sure that you look at them and refer to them, because if you start making up your own fingering, then you're going to get all kinds of funny things. I want to see this. I want to see this. I don't want it. Okay? It's crossover 2, 5, 1, 2. That's what I'm talking about, okay? And if you're not recording, I'm just going to say you're going to try to remember all this, and you can probably, but if you're going to do anything, watch the numbers in the book. Okay, that's the left hand. That's going to take, that's going to go in the beginning, A, E, to the A, okay? The pedal is important that you probably practice the pedal with your left hand from the very beginning. The pedal only is for the left hand. It goes down, it releases, it goes down, it releases while the right hand plays. Da, 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 da. You see what I'm talking about?
Okay.
Yeah, and that's a coordination thing. So the sooner you practice the pedal with the left hand, let it release, and let it release. Now, I don't know if you noticed too, what I'm doing with my left hand. I'm making sure that it's just an accompaniment and we don't get too much of this. Ouch, 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 and ouch, 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 okay? Your melody's in the right hand. So what you want to do is you've got to be a little bit more delicate with the left hand. Just let it flow. And trust it just needs to be that kind of a left hand. Just focus on the left hand. Got that, everybody?
Yeah.
Good. Now the right hand has a melody, and once again, every little number on top is going to be very helpful for you to be able to play this particular little melody very smoothly in your hand, okay? We all know that that little half step there is 5 and 4, just so you know. Don't do anything else except 5 and 4. Then it's 2, 4, 3, 1. When you finish this little part of the melody, you should be sitting in an A minor 5-finger position. 2, 4, 3, 1. Do you see how that just sort of sits and comes out of that 5-finger position? It really does, everybody. So be careful that you don't do anything else, otherwise it's going to be very awkward. Now, this part of the melody, your C, E, G, A, and B, it's 1, 2, 4, 5. Please, some of you make up fingering on me, and please don't, okay? It's 1, 2, 4, 5. 1, 2, 4, 5. Don't be trying to do this. Be trying to do this. All right? Please. It's a movement that goes up the hand. 1, 2, 4, 5. 1, 2, 4, 5. Do you get that?
Yeah.
Okay, so be careful with that. And that's the only reason why I asked you to learn the hands separately. Make sure you understand your rhythms, your fingerings, your notes separately, and then you're going to be able, you will put them together like very quickly. Now, rhythm. The tempo is all about 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. If you look at it very carefully, it's non-stop eighth notes. Whether you're going from the left hand to the right hand, non-stop. There's no pauses, everybody. It may look like it because you've got 3 notes here and 3 notes there, but it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. You see what I'm talking about? Everybody does this. You're seeing it in pieces, and I need you to see it as one flow of connection of 6/8 notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2. It's very cool. It's very cool. The last thing I'm going to tell you about the A section is I want to make sure that when you play your very first part of the piece, most of the time the students say, "Oh, that's the easy part. Oh, this is the hard part." So many students do this. Don't do that, guys. You're mixing your hands up. You're mixing more than anything. You're mixing your ears up. Your ears are not hearing eighth notes. Your ears are hearing da 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 da. I hear it every year, twice a year. I teach this class in the fall. I hear it twice a year. And I know why you do it. It's because you say, that is way too much fun. I'm going to play it as fast as I want, but then all of a sudden you hit the brick wall when you come to. Uh-oh. Watch, I'm going to do something else. You see what oh, now you laugh, okay? I don't want you to learn it that way. Okay. You've got to be patient and play this as slow as you play that, and that's all I'm saying. Okay. That's the hardest part for every student to not. It's a temptation for everybody want to play those first 6 or 7, 8 notes as fast as they can, and then after that it falls apart, and then you come back fast again. So I call it the fast, slow, fast, slow, fast. All right, now let's go on to the whole thing, and that way you guys have it all, and that way you can, depending on your time. If you have time to move, whenever you have the time, you're going to move into the B section. You'll have it on the phone. Okay, moving on. This little section here isn't any different as far as the same idea. It's just that the melody changes. Notice my left hand is still crossing. You guys catch all that? Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's just different notes. This is a C pattern, where before you started with an A pattern. It should feel exactly the same. You're just playing this on A when you start the song, and when you get into this section in here, it's on the C. Do you see how it's exactly the same as far as fingering and distance of notes? It's an octave, connected E, octave C, connected G. Piece of cake. Then you've been doing E to E crossover G sharp. Now he decides to make it G to G crossover B. See? If you really analyze it, you're going to say, that's all there is to it. And then he brings you back to A. All right, now, the melody, what I like about the melody, it gives you a chance to use your interval, your understanding of intervals. He went from G to F, that's the 7th, and he walked down. Then he went from F to E, a 7th, and he walked down. And then he went E to D, walk on down. I know. When you listen to it, it sounds so complicated. But back then, you have to remember there were 2 things composers did. They either wrote in repetition, meaning they just played they found it easy to compose where the same idea just got repeated again and again, or somebody came across the other composition technique, which was called sequence, where you take an idea and you do it again and you do it again and you do it again, but you change the position on the piano. Because if you do it if he did this, how boring, somebody finally said. Right. Why would you do that? And somebody said, well, how about this? Bach did it all day long. Mozart did it all day long. Haydn, any of your early composers, once they latched on to sequence, meaning taking a musical idea and just putting it on another note, but the same idea, it was like magic. He did it right there. Because those of you who are going to memorize for me, like overnight, I don't want you to memorize random, because you're going to be all night. Oh, was it? Oh, what was it? Oh, what was it? Ladies and gentlemen, it's the 7th. And then when it goes to F, it's the 7th. When it's E, it's the 7th. There's no guessing. Because I feel sorry for the student who just spends all night playing the wrong notes, the wrong notes, the wrong notes, until they finally figure it out. And why should you give yourself a whole week to figure out those 9 notes when you just can tell yourself, oh, it's a formula. 7th, walk down. 7th, walk down. 7th, walk down. You see what I just did, everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. Then when you put your left hand, you get that. Here I go. Now, some of you are going to have to mark your books very carefully, but do you see how many E's are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 E's.
Yes. So he goes all the way up the keyboard?
He goes all the way to here. But unfortunately, as soon as a student sees this treble clef, they play it with the right hand, and it doesn't go that way. It alternates. It's left, right, left, right. I'll do it again. That's why if I were you, if you want me to, I can do it, but can I have your pencil? What you need to do, everybody, you need to remind yourself and put a circle around the first 3 notes and put an LH on top. That tells you that's the left hand notes. RH, right hand. The next 2 are left hand. The next 2 are right hand. Do you see what I just did, everybody? That way it can remind you that.
So the staff that it's on is the hand you play it with. The left, the lower, that's all left hand.
Mm-hmm.
But why did it? But you go up the
But you're
keyboard.
going up the keyboard.
Well, because as a pianist, my friends, after a while, once you leave beginning piano music and you get into intermediate and advanced music, yes, the left hand can play with the right hand up in the treble clef. You've been taught to pretty much always feel like you have to be divided, okay? We're past that now. We're into intermediate piano music, and yes, there are going to be times when the left hand does play in the treble, and if it's and I'm telling you to do it, okay? But because I'm going to tell you right now, you need a piano teacher to tell you that. Because if you were doing it by yourself, I would see this. Yeah, and I know that, but that's why you take lessons. So if somebody tells you, because most Beethoven has probably figured, if you've played enough piano, you would know how to finger that. If you played enough piano, he figured you would know how to do that. Or a teacher would tell you how to do that. So I'm just telling you that some of you need to mark your music that way. Okay. Then it continues left, then it continues left, right, left, right. Left, right, left, right. Yes. Okay. We've heard this music a million times on the radio and every place else, but you don't know how it's played. And now I'm showing you how it's played, okay?
So when this sign, that's mean those notes in this side of the piano?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. If you took all this away, you see that treble clef? Yeah. You know where middle C is, right, everybody?
Yep.
Well, there you have it. That is an E, regardless, whether that was on this page, or it was on this page, or if it was the right hand playing it. That is E above middle C. But this particular way you're going to play these octaves, these last 2 octaves, is going to be the left.
So to play that and get those hands smooth is going to be the hard part.
Not really. If you know your octaves, and you've been practicing your octaves, actually you're going to get better at your octaves. I'll be honest with you. After a while, you're going to, when you learn this piece, that's the one thing that gets better for you is octaves. Now, last thing I'm going to tell you about all these octaves, all these E's. 1, 2, 3, I said 9, right? Make sure that the first 3 are these 3 right here. And because they're going to be done all with the left hand, it can't be like this. I mean, it can't be like, what do you guys, most students do this. I can't even think what
punch.
No, they do this. They do this. That's what you guys do. You do another one of those, crosses that we did over here. It's not the same writing. This is an octave, okay, everybody? We don't cross like that for octaves. Mm-hmm. You'd cross like that for an octave going over a third. These are 3 octaves. 1, 2, 3. So here's how you're going to do it. Little finger, thumb. Little finger, thumb. I'm not even making it up. It's in your book. Okay. Again, there's a lot of things you don't have to go guessing on your own. This book is really very good about giving you fingering. Okay, then the next thing I tell my students, if you're going to memorize 6 of these D sharps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you're done. And we're back to like page 1. If you learn this page really well, everybody, very carefully, you're going to cut and paste. And Mr. Beethoven, like what did I tell you earlier? They like to do repetition. He said, I'm not writing that all over again. And he put it over here. All right? So make sure, I'm just saying it's going to be nice that once you get all this learned, you really do have all the second page learned too. Don't make it look like it's like this huge piece of music. It's not. This is the same as this. It's just how you have to get back into it. La 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 la, first and second ending. So when you get out of here, you should be going back to this. B, C, D. So that section gets played twice, okay, everybody as well. See what I'm doing? I like this tempo myself. I do not like the coffee tempo.
Yeah.
I can't stand it. All right? I get people who just want to play it so fast, and I know that wasn't Beethoven's intention. It's a beautiful piece. It's a delicate piece. So let's slow it down, okay, everybody? Feel every eighth note so you can have a beautiful legato sound in your playing. I'm going to take the ending now. Mark this, because most students don't see it. It gets away from them, but that's a D, my friends, as versus the E on the previous page. Oh, I like that. So see, you're going to go with your ear, and you're going to end it like you played it on page 1, but he made a D here instead. Now, by doing that, it's going to allow you to put your fourth finger on B, and with that fourth finger on B, hopefully you're going to hold it long enough to see what it's like to just very legato with a lot of control get to the third finger on A and your thumb on C and do this instead of this. I don't want choppy. I don't think you want choppy either. It's a huge slur marking there. See what I'm talking about, everybody? Do you hear the difference now? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this is a good time to start to see what it's like to control your fingers a little bit more when you're developing a melody that should be very legato. And what makes that easier to control is the what? The diminuendo and the ritardando. So it's not that, right? It's slower, and it's even slower. And it's softer. We don't want to.
Are you still pedaling with your left hand?
Yes, the pedal marking is simile. This is the only time you don't pedal, and then it comes back to si pedal simile. Then you do it the same. Just like, in other words, it never changes. The left hand, the left has the foot will always have the pedal. Even here. See, I put it here, but I took it off there. Remember we talked about the left hand gets the pedal, the right hand doesn't?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Left, right, and everybody gets a pedal. At the end, you should put the pedal down. I know it doesn't say so, but I do because I think it gives another little ring to it. And keep your hands down and let it just sort of fade off even with your hands on the piano. It's a pianist effect. It's what one should do, okay?
So you play the first part to the
Here.
there. You play it again to the second ending.
Then you go in
you
here.
play the middle to there.
First ending.
Then you
back to
play
here.
the middle to the second ending.
Mm-hmm. It's a long song, but
Okay.
it's long as far as time, but these two pieces are the same.
Okay.
And this is the same when you go back and repeat it. So you're really doing, I don't know what to say. It's just, you'll figure it out.
Okay.
You'll figure out how many times you played the la da 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 da, and how many times you played the da 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 da. So this is on beat 3, right, everybody? This is the pickup. So you should go 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. If you did that, these guys would be correct.
Okay.
1 and 2 and 3 and 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 so I'm counting it, everybody. And 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. I'm gonna go on. And 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2. tell you, I don't know if I told you this, but when you alternate your D sharps and your E's with your hands up here, the left hand does these two fingers and your right hand does these two fingers only for this set, but then your right hand has to come back to this one. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to go, are you? So it's just this one. That's a 2-3 up there. They should have put the 3 in there. 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 4, 5. See how you get back to the beginning finger? Make note of that. Don't get stuck on 2, 3 to come back to your melody, because you're not gonna. It can't happen. It can't work. Your melody. So it's okay. Okay. Anything else you can ask me that I hope will be helpful for you to do your own sort of time on this, even if you work with me on your piano, on your videos, a little bit at a time. I know that was a lot, but you should just do it in little moments by yourselves, okay? Like a little tutorial.